and welcome to this edition of Expro Experts Unplugged. We've got a big issue to talk about today. It's the UK Continental Shelf, the UKCS, and I'm delighted to be joined by Carole Paley from Expro to discuss what is really quite a significant project. My name is Andrew Bradshaw, so let's just dive into it. Carole, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss a very challenging time for the UK market.
Okay, good. Well, thanks for being here. Just before we actually get into it, I just wanted to ask you about your background in Expro, where you know the work that you do and the work that you do in terms of the development of the company.
Well, I've been with Expro for around 20 years now, working initially. What I did when I joined Expro, I'd had my own training company prior to that, and Expro was one of my clients actually, and they asked me to join and set up their learning and development function, which it was a great opportunity for me, and I had a fantastic, probably first 12 years of my career with Expro. Allowed me to, because it was new, it allowed me to see every aspect of the Expro business, all of the product lines. I went to all the regions, all of our operational bases, and really got a good grounding in Expro.
Yeah.
I then joined the UK area team as the area manager, taking over the running of the UK business, which was a big challenge for me, but again one which, because I had a fantastic team, I was able to embrace.
Right.
As that's gone on through the years, the company's grown obviously through merger, through acquisition, new product lines added, new teams added, so a complete new dimension to my job. And just recently I was put in as managing director of the UK area. So yes, more responsibility, but just continuing really to lead the business in the UK, make sure that we're following the company strategy and the strategic direction of the UK, overseeing that the operation is done safely and the service quality is first class. And really what I've been able to do, I suppose, because I've been in the industry for the past few decades, which I hate to admit, but I'd have, what that's allowed me to do is use that experience, both past and present actually, to make sure that the UK, that Expro UK and our teams are set up for the changing face of the UK market. We have to be ready, and so we spend an awful lot of time making sure that we're resourced correctly and that we have the right technology to meet the differing changes to the industry.
So you mentioned there about the changes and the big changes that are happening in the UK Continental Shelf, the UKCS. How important is the UKCS to Expro? And on the other way around, how important is Expro to the continued success of the UKCS?
Well, let me start with why Expro is actually important to the continued success of UKCS. All the whole supply chain is hugely important for the success of our basin going forward. So every one of us have a part to play. From a UK perspective, Expro UK is hugely important to the whole Expro group, because really over the last 50 years that we've been here in the UK, and 50 plus actually, and it's more than that with our colleagues from our construction business. You know, we have gained a huge amount of experience internationally and domestically here, and we really are the area. You know, we're one of the areas that actually are growing our talent within Expro to ensure the success of our business going forward. So it's not just an operations base here in Aberdeen. We have every product line represented here. We have every product line working in the North Sea. So it truly is an area that is very important to the whole Expro ecosystem, basically.
Yeah, okay. The UKCS is under considerable change, as we've said already. How would you describe the landscape in the UKCS, the energy landscape in the UKCS? What are the challenges that it faces from your perspective, and what do you think the solutions to it could be?
Well, the word I would use, and I'm sure we'll hear it a lot this week, is challenging. It truly is a very challenging time for us. With a complex, challenging fiscal regime that in itself is causing issues for so many of us, operators and the supply chain as a whole. The reluctance to invest in greenfield is there.
Yeah.
Brownfield work has gone on for us this year, and we've been busy with that. But we all know that the investment, there are a lot of the operators choosing to go elsewhere and invest their money elsewhere.
Yeah.
And that's hugely damaging for the supply chain that's there. We need to be able to keep it, and as such, we need to be able to adapt and see, but there's still so much uncertainty around the business.
Yeah. We talked about the challenges, but what do you see as the opportunities for the UKCS, and how do you think that we can actually achieve those?
Well, for me, I see at the end of the day, we have a lot of untapped resources. We know it's there. We still have a growing need for our energy. So we have this conflict between importing, etc. So we know there's opportunity there. Unfortunately, how that opportunity, how we can take that opportunity and grab it with both hands and go with it is somewhat out of our own, control, because obviously there needs to be a shift in so many things that we can't have direct control of.
Yeah.
But as a company, what we need to ensure is that we're ready for any changes that do come.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there will be changes of a sort. So from an Expro perspective, my job is to make sure that as an organisation, we're using technology innovation to make sure that we can meet the demands for any change that comes, and what that change is, we don't know yet.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about that. How Expro can help operators and other companies to actually overcome these challenges and to achieve these opportunities. So it's technology. Basically, it's technological support is the key driver in that.
It's part of it, absolutely. What we have to do is work with our clients to make sure that we can, we work with them collaboratively to make sure that we can deliver the projects basically cost effectively, obviously safely, and making sure that our service quality remains at the top. So that's how we work with the clients to do that, and the way that we can do that with the cost efficiencies is to make sure that we're looking at any technology innovation that we can bring to that, and that's basically how we will help the operators at the moment.
Okay, well, I know the next question I want to ask is really about examples, and I accept that maybe you're not going to be able to actually name specific projects that you've been involved in, but I wondered if there's any kind of examples that you could share with us of work that you've done that actually typify what you're talking about and amplify Expro's business strategy.
Yeah, I can give you a few examples there, Andrew, actually. Earlier this year, we worked on the Shell Victory campaign, which was a very high-profile project for Shell. The Shetland gas plant was struggling.
Yep.
And by bringing this well online, that enabled the Shetland gas plant to continue to operate profitably. And our subsea and well test teams worked very, very closely with Shell because it was a very complex project, which took a lot of planning. And the execution of that project was seamless. So, a project that Expro were very proud to be part of with Shell. On the decommissioning front, we're seeing decommissioning projects, increase significantly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We are currently working with TACA on a 52 subsea well abandonment campaign across their fields on the Noble Patriot.
Yeah.
And again, that's one that will go on for some time. We're seeing more decommissioning work scopes come out. It's hugely important for us. Expo are geared up to be able to work in the decommissioning space successfully. And then a new project that we were delighted to be awarded, the BP Net CCUS project, which we've already started planning, kicks off next year. But obviously that's been a hugely important project for us to secure with CCUS becoming very much part of the energy transition. What was good about that project is I think what it demonstrated is that we could leverage on the skill sets that we have in our traditional offerings for new projects such as these. And I think it talks to my point earlier that we need as a supply chain to make sure that we retain the skill set that we have here, because for energy transition it's very similar and they're going to be needed, and if we don't have it, that's going to be impeded as well.
And which leads me on to the next question, because talent is obviously critical. So how are we going to keep that talent, both for an employer perspective and for a candidate perspective? How are we going to keep that talent, and how can we ensure that we retain it and sustain the future of the UKCS?
Talent is a massive issue for all companies at the moment. Recruitment, but also retention is difficult. As we see operators potentially moving elsewhere, then the talent pool will move with them. So we have to find a way to protect that. Certainly, from an Expo perspective, our talent that we have within the organisation is really a valuable resource for us. It is the most valuable resource Expo have. Yeah. So from an Expo perspective, we've always believed in talent management, talent development. We've never paused with recruiting new people into our industry and into our company. So we continue to recruit apprentices, but also graduates. We've also got a very, very good set of programmes for both technical and non-technical personnel. We've also embedded a very strong competency management system globally, which ensures that, one, our talent pool have a career path that they can follow, but also ensures to our clients that we have the right skill set within the organisation to deliver our service quality and safety. So internally, we're working hard on that. As our industry, I think it's something that we absolutely have to work with now and act now on, or else we will see that talent pool leaving the UK, which will be hugely detrimental to the energy business going forward.
Absolutely. Well, again, that comes back to another point is, if I was somebody younger than me, which there are many people younger than me, but to consider looking at a career in the energy industry, why would I consider it? Why should I think about joining the energy industry?
Well, I would say that it's still a great industry to get into. Yes, it's absolutely got a lot of uncertainty around it, but there are opportunities there. But I think anybody joining the industry needs to have flexibility and have a passion for change, because there will be change undoubtedly. But I think it's up to us to make sure that, for those of us who have been around the industry for a long time, we have to recognise that the youngsters coming into this industry are what will see us through the next few decades of the industry as it is, but also leading into energy transition. And it's up to us to make sure that they're mentored and encouraged, because they are the future of our industry. Absolutely. And I am absolutely convinced that, it's still a great industry to join. Yeah. You've mentioned quite a few times change, you mentioned transition. So how does a service company stay relevant in an extremely fluid and volatile market? Staying relevant is probably one of the key priorities for any service company at the moment, because there are so many different aspects to the business, and we work very hard to do that. So we've had to make sure that from a technology perspective that we are looking at new technologies, and give you an example, if you look at the rig floor 20 years ago and look at the rig floor now, it's hugely different. Expro have developed innovative technology that keep people out of the red zone, for instance, and therefore reducing any safety hazards, etc. And we have to continue to do that. So, yeah, adaptability is absolutely key.
Okay, so we've talked about relevance of service companies in the energy industry. How important are partnerships, or how important are partnerships now, and how important will partnerships be in sustaining the future of the UKCS?
Very important is the answer. Expro are very committed to, obviously, every work scope we go into, we need to ensure that we've got the right tool for the right job and the right technology for the right job. And sometimes we don't have that. So having trusted partners is hugely important for us. And we're very lucky in that we have a number of trusted partners that we've worked with for quite some time. And we're always looking, as technology develops, we're very, very good at looking to see what new technology is out there that there's just a synergy with what we deliver. So yes, to answer your question, they're hugely important.
Yeah.
And I think will become even more important as we go forward.
Okay. Going forward in one aspect, going back in another, if you were to maybe go back a few years to a younger Carole,
I wish.
I think we all wish. If you could go back a few years and looking at a younger Carole that was actually joining the energy industry, what would you tell yourself now about the energy industry? And what advice would you give to the young Carole looking to join?
Actually, I've been asked those questions by several people, actually, two of which are very close to me. I would absolutely still encourage. I know my experience with the oil industry has been fantastic. It's given me opportunity, firstly, to see the world and meet different people that I would never have had the opportunity to do. And whilst I still think that opportunity is there, it might look a little bit different now, but I still think that the energy industry will allow that. Would I have done anything different? I'm not sure. I think what my advice would be is to look for a company who are keen to develop and give that opportunity. Because that's the way you're going to stay relevant. But as I said earlier, remaining open-minded and adaptable and accepting of change is hugely important.
Yeah, I'm sure. Fantastic. And it's been fantastic to talk to you
Thank you very much.
What is a very wide and broad-ranging subject, I know. So, yeah, thanks very much, Carole. And thanks to you for listening to this latest episode of Expro Experts Unplugged. It just remains for me to say, hope to see you again for the next episode, and thank you and goodbye from Expro.